So make fun of me in my terrible Spanish. Cinco.
This
Episode cinco.
This accent is
Cinco
really
nuevo.
problematic.
Wow.
Right. Episode 55 of the Pint Size Podcast. We rolling.
Rolling.
You know what I'm saying? It's good. What's up, y'all?
Chilling,
Hi.
man. You know,
Right?
we in here. We out here in the building.
We out here.
feel me?
Hold on.
out here.
First of all, how does that work? We out here
Hey,
and in the building?
Hey, listen, man.
We out here in the building.
Listen, don't
We
worry
out
about
here,
how
we in the
moving.
building, we recording this podcast, we back from Christmas.
But how are we out there in the building?
I
You know
said
what?
I said. I said we out here in the building. And real ones
So
know
can
what
we
that
be in
means.
here, out there?
No.
We're not about to put this.
Real ones know what that means, OG. All right, you supposed to know better than that. You know what I'm saying? I know your background.
I'm getting checked, and Millie
feel
looking
me?
at me like I'm crazy.
I know your background, my man.
We in here, out here though.
You know what I'm saying?
We in here. Out here.
Man, we out here
in the
in
building.
here though. I swear, like we
feel
in the building, in the garage.
Word up.
In the garage.
Word up.
I don't know where we at.
It don't matter. we here. Y'all listening. Y'all love us and we love you.
And
So who's here? Oh, we missing Young Boy
yeah, we.
at the moment.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's up with Boy right now. See, when you're dealing with,
He probably got a hangover from all that eggnog.
probably. But it's me. Oh, it's been a while. Let me gather. It's been a minute.
You can't say that in the
I got to.
Right, though.
I got
Like,
to.
it's
me.
Got to. Okay, I'm back. It's me, FC on the beat, a.k.a. Fourth Quarter Freddy, a.k.a. Freddy Franchise, a.k.a. the best you ever heard. You're just afraid to admit it, a.k.a. Mr. I Have a Dream. So get your hands on my pocket, a.k.a. Speedy Tractor, a.k.a. Bomb Stockton, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Bazaar, a.k.a. Wavy Crockett, a.k.a. After Netflix Guy, a.k.a. Young Hulu, a.k.a. Hot Take Jake, a.k.a. Mr. Always Stay Focused, a.k.a. Mr. Always Locked and Loaded, a.k.a. Mr. All Bags Matter.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
I like what you just did, though. I was about to do it.
Millie getting her bearings
But
about
she
herself.
came in there with the little baby lasers. Pew, 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 pew. All right, Millie with the frosky.
Well, I don't have a fro no more, so I'm no more Millie with the fro.
I know.
Millie with the baby
With
fro.
the baby
With the
fro.
baby fro.
I'm still Millie the model. Yeah, Millie the model, Millie the baby fro. Millie with the kicks, Millie with the Pandora arm. Now,
Millie with the kicks, OG. You hear her? Ow!
I done had a camera set up. I wish I did, because y'all needed to see the way she just did that.
Killed us. Y'all ain't even see
The
it.
way she just
She
did
killed us.
that.
It's all good.
But yo, yeah. Shout out to everybody who spent time with their family
Word
and
up.
all of that good stuff.
Word up.
You know,
I spent, my wife's entire family was at the house. Oh, most of them were at the house.
okay.
And I hadn't really paid, like close attention to them all. I stay, I be trying to stay to myself a lot. But I realized that black women, like the genes are very strong in black women. Because
Okay.
I was sitting here looking at.
For the record, I want to make sure I'm not going to agree to anything. Yet
Well,
before
I didn't
know
say
what's about to be
nothing
said.
bad. All
I
I'm
know.
saying is,
don't know
like,
why you tread.
you could see it was about 3 generations represented in one room.
Fair.
And you can see, like, the traits had passed down already, even to the young ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was dope.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
like, wow, like, that's like,
Okay.
it was-
I can agree
you
with
see
that.
what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
something I haven't seen a lot of. Maybe it's just me, but
I
like
just didn't know if
the
you was feeling like Hot Take
great-grand
Jake.
and the grand and the sisters, then the babies. It was just all the same person in the living room all at once.
Wow.
It was pretty dope.
The way you just put it together,
Yeah.
I completely understand.
Yeah, it was
I
just
see it.
the same person. So it was pretty dope.
I would
Just
say-
wanted to point it out.
Although I would say maybe just black people genes are very strong in general.
Most likely.
Because like that just goes based off of her genetics. Like my mom genes were strong enough that like I look like her. Like, and you see my dad and you wouldn't think it's my dad.
Yeah.
But I
It
think-
was a lot of that too.
Yeah,
it was a
like
lot of that,
so
too.
I think just black people genes period are very
But yeah,
very
it was
strong.
good to have everybody at the crib. Ate a little food. Laughed at the more seasoned generation. So it was pretty dope. I'm not mad at it. It was a good time to bond with people.
No. That's kind of how I feel about things.
Yeah.
It's always a good time to. It's never a bad time to spend time with family.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think one of the worst things ever is not being able to. You know what I'm saying? You kind of You don't realize the impact it takes, especially when you've experienced spending time with family and then it's taken away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or whatever circumstance happens. Or I feel bad for the people who never get the experience spending time with family too, because they already naturally have a void for something that they never even felt before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's dope that everybody got a chance to spend time with family. I did not.
You didn't?
I worked all day yesterday.
Did you? Why did you do that?
Why?
It was necessary at the time?
Man, listen to me, man. Right now, I am in this zone. And I'm mad because my rubber band broke literally this morning as I put it back on after the shower. I wear that All Bags Matter rubber band all the time, bro. Like, I got a whole bunch of rubber bands. I got the Why Not Look Good Naked. I got the whatever, but the All Bags Matter
I keep
band,
one extra. I got to get
it's a reminder.
Yeah,
So, y'all ever seen... So if y'all never seen this movie, I want y'all to check it out. All right, for two reasons. First of all, the movie's dope. Second of all, it's something that Matt Damon does in this movie that not Matt Damon. I'm sorry. It's something that not Matt Damon. Oh my goodness.
Just get us to the movie.
Come
I'll
on,
help you.
Mile 22. Come, I know that everybody knows this guy. Freaking, come on, man. He's been in every movie in the world. Freaking Ted. He's been in the movie with The Rock when they pump it.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark freaking Wahlberg. Why I can't remember Marky Mark. All right, so yeah. So Mark Wahlberg in this movie called Mile 22. And it's about these guys who are in the service or whatever. And he's like over everybody or whatever. And one of these things that he does to kind of remind himself, it's like a anger thing because he has anger issues. He has a rubber band. He pops it. Every time he gets pissed, he just pops his rubber band or whatever. But I took that as that's kind of how I feel about All Bags Matter. Like, it's sometimes I'm in these situations where it's like, I don't want to do this. I don't need this. I don't want to be a part of this. And I, no lie, bro, subconsciously, I just look down and I'm like, All Bags Matter. Like, the goal right now is get the bag to create other bags. That's all. For the last however many months, my whole thing has been like, get this money, reinvest this money into this, reinvest this money into that, reinvest this money into that. And then now the circulation is starting to happen. And now I'm like, I got to be able to create. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to go, man. I'm going to tell y'all to go off air. I ain't going to say it to these people. I got to go what I want to make by what I'm going to make by April of 2019. A month. I'm going to tell y'all a month. I ain't going to tell y'all these people on air, but I'm going to tell y'all when we get off here. Just accountability.
I'm rolling.
Or whatever.
I'm rolling.
But when I get this bag,
whenever the number got you excited.
You're right.
Oh, okay, I'm rolling.
when I get this bag, it's going to help all of us. Understand that. All right? You know
I'm with you.
But,
mentioning those, those rubber bands that you know what I'm saying, that you is part of your daily routine. Yeah. You can always get those on fconthebeat.net. Or send me a DM or shoot us an email. And I'll be able to make sure to expedite you a couple of those so you can join the movement and understand the severity of the All Bags Matter mentality.
Especially since I just made this episode's name All Bags Matter.
All Bags Matter.
Game time.
I just tagged the All Bags Matter for the name.
I don't know if have you guys been on Netflix lately?
Have you? He has Netflix
I'm
in his
after
name.
Netflix guy, baby.
Okay, so you already know what I'm gonna. So, Bird Box.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Have you seen it?
You seen it yet?
What is it?
Bird Box. Okay, wait. Let's write it down. We'll talk about. You got to see it.
I have not seen
We have
Bird
to
Box.
You gotta
see
wait
it.
until you see it, and then we can come back.
Next
and talk
week
about
we'll
it.
recap.
Bro,
Next
are
week
you
we'll
not on
recap.
Facebook anymore?
Who, me? No, I'm not on Facebook anymore.
That doesn't help.
It doesn't help? Oh.
No, like, what are you doing?
I'm just off of there, man.
Get your no. Just no.
I mean, I don't get on Facebook, and
I know
mean,
you don't, but I
it's
can at
kinda-
least tag you.
That's true.
And make
That's
you know.
true.
First of all, let's understand something. It's still the biggest platform in the world.
No, it 100% is. 100%.
So what are you doing?
100% is.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You'd be surprised how many people listen to our podcast
From
based off
Facebook.
So
No,
stop
I
playing.
know it.
Yeah, I'm checking.
I know
you right
it.
now. I'm checking you right now.
I know it.
Yeah, I don't like this. You need to stop.
I mean,
Yeah, I got shut down.
You need to stop.
The Pint Size
You-
Podcast.
you need to
the
stop.
Instagram's for me right now. Okay.
You guys need to stop.
Yes, sir.
You
I don't like your attitudes.
Okay.
I don't like your attitude. All right.
Okay.
So listen, watch Bird Box, though, Blue.
there we
Watch
Yeah,
Bird
definitely
Box.
watch Bird Box.
Just
It's
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Box.
Sandra Bullock is in it.
It's literally going to be the first picture you see when you open up Netflix. That's
Yeah.
literally what
Bird
everybody's
Box was
been-
it's a Sandra Bullock movie.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
Netflix made it. It's good.
Sandra Bullock
Just
and
watch it.
the guy from Get Out is in there
Yeah.
too.
Crazy.
So watch
The black
that.
dude.
Yeah, Black
Yep.
Dude. So watch that. But we definitely have to have a
definitely
conversation
do.
about
Bird
that.
Box. I'm gonna watch Bird Box.
Watch Bird Box.
Bird Box.
I'm watching tonight, maybe.
Yeah.
And
and then we'll
we
come
get back
back
to
next
it.
week and let's talk about it. Yeah. So
Besides
I don't
it
know what
being
y'all want to get into.
I got a question for you guys,
Okay, what you got?
and I think this applies personally, professionally, whatever you're doing.
Okay.
How important? Because this is something I've been mulling over. How important for you guys is it to leave a legacy? And with that, how big do you feel as though, or how deep do you feel as though your impact needs to be or go in order for you to leave the legacy that you desire, if you desire to leave a legacy?
I think it needs to be very big, honestly. That was something that these past few days, why I realized I haven't been acting on social media.
Okay.
Like, I kind of lost my interest in my purpose of why I had a social media for a second. So I went back to it now, and after starting reading this book, I'm realizing, like, I sit here and I tell people the reason I model is to impact these girls. But I looked at my Instagram and it's like, I'm not exactly doing what I'm saying I need to do. So I need to start taking steps and actually start revamping my Instagram so that I can leave this legacy and start making those steps to impact these girls that I want to impact in the long run.
Yeah,
So
I'm rolling.
it's starting to become more important to me than it was before. And it took me sitting here and a girl coming up to me in the bar saying, you know, I love what you do, you know, really praising me. And for the first time, I sat here and I was like, well, what is she praising me for? What am I doing? I literally looked at my Instagram and I was like, I don't see how I'm impacting. Like, you see it, but I don't see it. You know, I look at my feed. It's not anything that's like my captions are not anything that's pulling you. There's nothing that's like making you more relatable to me. To make me more relatable to everybody else.
That's from you speaking from your point of view, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that people can sit here and understand that I am trying to make them more comfortable with who they are. So that's kind of what I see. Yeah, legacy is very, very important, and it's becoming more important than wealth and fame. It's more so of like, I want to leave an impact of I was that model who did this, not so much I was that model that climbed to here. So
yeah, I get that. Legacy to me has always been, well, I think our perspectives are a little different.
Yeah.
Because I started understanding it once I had kids. So for me, the idea of legacy, it touches them first because, you know, it's my responsibility to make sure that I handle them properly and make sure they're launched into the world and all of the things that fathers are supposed to do. But secondly, that it kind of opened up that idea for the masses and saying, okay, well, in taking care of your family, that's obviously first, but what mark do you want to leave? No matter what profession it's in or whatever, like outside of that, like what mark do you want to leave on the earth, or how many, you know, what is your intention on touching the next ones, and how do you bring them up? So it's interesting y'all talking about that. I had the opportunity. I'm getting far more involved in the school system that my kids go to personally. I always supported my wife in that, but personally it's like, okay, I may have something that could help. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So speaking to them kind of is becoming a regular thing. And that's something that it's enabling the idea of legacy to be here. You know what I'm saying? So but I think it's a premium on that, especially, and I hate to separate us, but we're separate. But especially for people of color, I think it should be a premium on that, because there are not a lot of, in business and personal life and family and spirituality and fitness and whatever, it's not a lot of positive marks, especially now, that we're seeing. That now they are there, but they aren't highlighted. So sometimes, you know what you do. Yeah. So sometimes you got to make twice the amount of noise to get the same amount of sound. That makes sense. And I think that's where we are in culture now. So I think legacy and doing things for reasons that benefit you, I still believe in that, but ultimately benefit us all is a big deal. I think everybody should hold it higher.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess what kind of prompted this lately, I've been really thinking about my children, and I had to repent to them. You know what I'm saying? I had to apologize to my children because I've been chasing, not necessarily the bag. You know what I'm saying? I have been chasing the bag, right? But not in like the purest form. I've been chasing what the bag can do. You know what I'm saying?
For them, explain the difference.
So the benefit. So everybody wants money, of course, or whatever. So the difference between loving money and loving the benefits of money, you know what I'm saying, is different. So I love the freedom that money creates. I love the impact that money can have on people. I love the change that money can do, right? But I'm not in love with money per se. Money doesn't mean anything to me. Money is a byproduct.
I get you.
So like when people always, first of all, I hate when they do this. They always misquote the scripture. They be like, yo, money is the root of all evil. That's not true. And the scripture never even says that.
Never says that.
It says that the love of money is the root to all evil, which I completely understand. Anybody who's willing to do anything for money loves money itself.
Right.
For me, I don't love money. You know what I'm saying? I love being able to help people. I love being able to change circumstances. I love being able to move how I want to move. And that doesn't necessarily mean having the latest fashion or whatever else. That's not what I'm saying, right? And my whole reasoning, well, at least I thought my whole reasoning for chasing the bag, right, was to create something for my children, create a legacy for them, provide for them, make sure that their life is easier. While doing this, though, right, I've missed moments, right? Okay. I don't know when this started to happen, but I became the parent that's like there during the big moments, right? But missing the small stuff. That's been important. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids can't be like, well, daddy wasn't there no, I was there. When you graduated, I was there. Your birthday came around, I was there. When you had to go to the hospital, I was there. I was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the day-to-day stuff, I subconsciously placed a lower premium on it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to reevaluate my legacy or what I'm doing for my legacy. And I had to say, okay, am I really doing this for my kids still? You know what I'm saying? Am I really doing this for my kids still, or did I just get to this place where I'm just doing it for me in some sort of vainglory? You feel me?
Right.
And I think the reality is that I think all of us do it for some vain reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us aren't honest about those vain reasons.
That's the difference.
You know what I'm saying? Or they're blind to those vain reasons. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I definitely think, to answer the question, I think that the importance of legacy is super, 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 super high. Mm-hmm. Can I take better steps in building that legacy? Yes. So now I'm looking at ways to work harder, but work way smarter. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So how can I take less time and make it super, super, super impactful, way, way, way more meaningful, and be able to create what I actually want to create later down the line, so that my kids still don't have to worry about certain things, or that, you know what I'm saying? I can help my nieces and my nephews. I can help my family members. I can help people on the streets. Like my vision board. I pulled out my vision board again. I stared at it. I'm looking at it again every single day. I used to do this all the time. For some reason, I stopped doing it. I got off track. Yeah. What's funny is, even though I got off track on my vision board, at least 5 or 6 things on my vision board I actually done. You know what I'm saying?
That means you did it right.
Right.
But what's messed up is I'm beating myself up. And I'm dogging myself, not realizing that I'm accomplishing the things.
Yeah.
So I'm not. So it worked, but it didn't work.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I see.
So I'm looking at my vision board. I'm like, yo, I knocked out 6 of these 14 things on my vision board. Yeah. This is freaking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But every single day I'm looking at these vision boards, and one of the things that I want to do with this vision board is I want to be able to feed countries. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally feed countries at a drop of a dime. I want to be able to provide fresh water, not relying on governments and all that stuff. I want to be able to do it because I want to do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the reminders of why I'm doing what I'm doing, I got so far away from, because I'm just kind of going through the motions and doing stuff for me in my own glory. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So this is an interesting topic.
Okay.
Because I have a question now based on your question, because you made a point. I forgot how exactly you worded it. But And Millie, I don't know how I'm gonna get you in this, but
Okay.
I got babies.
Millie will find a way.
Millie will find a
I'll
way.
find a way.
Millie always finds a
I
way.
ain't trying to play you, but
No, always find a way.
but I thought about this. So in terms of parenting and building, right now, I have people put a premium on. There's nothing wrong with this, but people put a premium on the day-to-day function with your children. Just day-to-day interactions and what those look like, and kind of have set a standard in certain circles by saying that if you're not the hyper interactive hands-on father, that you're not doing a great job. I've gotten a lot of slack about that, obviously, because I am a father and I do a lot of stuff. But I don't do a lot of hands-on day-to-day stuff with my kids. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Now my wife understands, and we have an understanding about what that looks like and what it really means. But I think that men who are now, I'm not talking about the lazy ones who that are just avoiding, but I mean the ones who are saying, okay, my role in this for us to succeed is this primary, and then the hand secondary. So primarily it's, let me set the standard for the home. Let me make sure the provision is there for us now and for what comes after. Let me build something that will be here when you're gone. And if that means I'm not at every PTA meeting or I'm not at every open house, then that is kind of where the scales balance. Where do you sit on that? Because I don't think we've ever had a conversation, personal.
First
or
of all,
public.
I know this ain't got nothing to do with it, but I don't give no damns about no PTA meeting. I know that's your point. I know that's your point. But I just wanted to say that. I don't care if I had the time or not. I'm not going to no PTA meeting. Screw your PTA. No. So I think it's hard. It's hard. Okay. And I think if we've been, no, for real, sometimes you can try to sound deep and smart and intelligent and whatever else you want, but the reality is it's hard. Donovan made a tough decision. Goes back to hard. Donovan made a tough decision. He pulled away from something that was yielding him more financial gain and more publicity or whatever else to spend more time with his kids, because he realized that his kids were suffering because he didn't have his imprint or his handprint on his children the way he needed to. He had to make a hard decision.
I'm rolling.
Now, looking at it 2 years later, it ended up being a blessing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It ended up being a blessing. But in the moment, it was a hard decision. For me, like, I'm doing this. It's times when my kids and this boy with me, it's time where they mothers get mad at me. You talking about, well, dang, why they in the gym with you? It's 2 reasons they in the gym with me. For one, 3 reasons. One, they with me. Yeah. 2, this is where I work. They need to see what hard work look like. True. Right? Because I'm building this on my dollars and everything else. Like, no loans, none of this crap. Right? They need to see what that looks like. I make them work while they're here. Grab a bucket, get the vacuum, pick this up, clean this up. Like, you need to understand how this works, so they're learning something too. And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also understand that, like, life isn't perfect all the time. They need to get that. And the hard decisions with not being able to do the day-to-day at times is the backlash that comes from it.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, who's the backlash coming from? For you, like, you know what I'm saying? Is it internal? Okay. Is it internal backlash? Right. Yeah. Because that could be an indicator of something else. True. Is it backlash from your children and behavior and antics and whatever else, or is it backlash from outside people?
No, I'm not talking.
Yeah. I want you to jump here too when you can.
Yeah, I would. Go ahead.
I'm listening to this and, like, are you guys seeing that as like a dad perspective,
no,
or
just a parent, just a person,
just a parent? Period.
I'm speaking. I know, like, with women, when we have children, that balance comes into play automatically once we have children, because we have to now balance being a mom, still being a mom and making sure we do our mom duties, and then still providing, for the child, especially when you're a single mother. It kind of comes.
That's if you're a good mom.
That's something that my mom had to do, and she.
You got a good mother.
She raised, two amazing women, but she had to make that sacrifice and taking us to daycares and balancing, driving from Pennsylvania, New Jersey to work. And it was hard because it was like I didn't see her as much, but she worked that hard that now I see her more often. So in a way, it paid off for me. Like,
so in the moment, how did you feel?
In the moment, I mean,
or do you even remember?
No, I remember. I mean, at the moment, being 8, I just saw it as my mom was working. You know, the older I got, the more I did feel a little neglected. Sometimes, because then you would meet kids who had stay-at-home moms and they had that connection to their parents.
That's what I was speaking to.
And at one point, yes, I did feel a disconnect. Like, well, why weren't you never home? You know, why didn't I sit down and get this talk about, you know, little stuff? Hearing like my friends sitting here and saying, oh yeah, well, my parents talked to me about that, and it was just like, well, I learned it from school, so I had this disconnect.
Okay,
like,
I missed you.
I'm not as close. Like, the older I get now, because she is home more, I am connecting with her again, but it took me a while to get there.
Especially as a woman, and from woman to woman or girl to woman, were there moments in your life, right, day-to-day moments where decisions were hard for you, or you were coming into a new phase of womanhood or whatever, that you felt like you couldn't connect with your mom on because she was gone? Not the typical stuff like, you know, girls go through these phases at times where they just naturally don't connect with their parents.
I think it was more so on like the importance. It was like, I mean, when I got to that point of womanhood, yes, she was there, but it was over the phone. So I was at home by myself when I first, you know, came into womanhood. I was home by myself. So on the phone, I had this mom. She's like, oh my gosh, sweetie, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. But it was over the phone. I was by myself, still going through it. So I guess I had that disconnect of her actually physically being there. And then when it came to dating men, like, I learned from school. She'd never sat down, told me, you know, this is the reality, you know, this is why, you know, me and your father don't really have a good relationship, is because there are men like this out here. You know, I had to learn the hard way. And that was from her working so much. It was just kind of relying on school to just, you know, tell me anything.
Scares me. That's what scares me.
That's what disconnect me, because then when I got into relationships, I never came to her about getting into relationships. My sister did, because she was really close to her, because my older sister, you know, she was around her and she was helping her, you know, with me. And then so they're really, really close. With my mom, we're still getting kind of close. There's still some things I don't talk to her about that, as my mom, I should talk to her and should feel comfortable, but that disconnect a little bit is gone. Like, I don't have that connection like I should. And it sucks, but I'm working on it. But that impact of having that balance, could be that long-term impact of, you know, this child, they understand why you're working, but what are you disconnecting from then in the long run?
And so that's what I'm speaking to, because from my perspective, and Jada, I'm going to get to this point right here you just made in a second. From my perspective, okay, having the ability to do what I do, right? I'm a music producer and I'm a musician full time. So a lot of my hours are automatically spent in the home, right? I actually do a lot of the way my life is set up. Thank you for all the bad times leading me up to the good times of me not having to leave the house a lot if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest, that's always something I wanted to do. Wanted to just have the option to have, only because I understood. Like, my dad he wasn't an entrepreneur. They're two different kind of people, right? My dad wasn't an entrepreneur, even though he built businesses. My dad was a hustler. Yeah, it's different. And that mentality, the always on the go get it. I'm always building. I'm always grinding. It benefited me, in terms of personality characteristics, how I look at things, how I analyze it. That benefited me because I saw him do it, right? But me leaving, I left the house early at 17. But even in those moments, I didn't have the skill set or the toolbox to be able to process, okay, you're on your own. And so the trade-off with me happened in terms of, okay, you saw this man build these things. You kind of understand what it looks like. That's who you are now. You're built to be analytical. My dad did that, right? Yeah. But on the other side of the coin, the life lessons, the manhood, I had to chart that on my own. And I screwed it up for the first 10 years.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But in the end, now we can have conversations at a peer level that most parents and children don't get to have.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting topic to me only because, let me get to what Jada said. It's an interesting topic to me only because there are benefits and drawbacks from either way of pursuing it. You know what I'm saying? Jada says this, that there is a communication piece missing around parents being quote unquote present and why certain decisions have to be made. She said, I don't have kids, but being a teacher, children see things but are missing so many skills.
I agree with that, especially being in the education field for the last 7 years. Dang,
It's been that long?
you know what, bro?
Has it been that long?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I know how old I am, man, but I kind of done it a little bit. Like, for real, it's like I lived 7 different lives or something. But anyway, I'm very serious. I just had a moment. But I agree with that. Especially being in education. I started off as like an aide or whatever. Went back and finished up school and been a teacher for the last 4 years. Almost 5. Yeah, so I sub often, and when I got real serious about the gym, I just start subbing. So I sub often, and a lot of things that I see in schools are that for whatever reason, our parents kind of grew up in a way where parents didn't have to talk to children, and they didn't talk to them. So it was like, you're a child, I'm an adult, stay in a child's place.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I agree, but I don't agree. Right? Now, when I'm talking to my kids, because there's so much out here in the world, there's so much access to so many different things, and you're taking in so much, man, you can learn so many things from so many things. And I know that for a fact because we were learning things from less things.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And we got everything at our disposal. And my mom never talked to me about financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? That crippled me. And I had a great mom who was financial literate. Like, very good with money, like very good at organization, but didn't talk to me about it. Didn't sit me down and like, yo, blah, 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 blah. Granted, like, me and my father kind of had the same relationship as you and your dad. My dad was on drugs, and drugs had him going crazy, and so I didn't really have a present father. But now me and that dude is like this, and we could talk about everything in such a way, like, I see the value in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, this is why dads are important, right? But so we didn't talk about financial literacy. We didn't talk about why my mom and my dad didn't work, why their relationship didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So for years, in relationships, I did subconsciously what I saw. When things get rough, you run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When stuff gets rough, you run. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you do. And you do something else and act like that stuff didn't exist. And then what finds out is you still got to deal with the crap later. You know what I'm saying? I am not with my children's mom. And you know what? For the first time in my entire life, we are still okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're okay. We can have conversations about stuff. We can talk. We can blah, 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 and go for it because I understand. Like, no, you don't run from problems and solve them. You deal with problems to solve them. Yeah. And even then, you may not. But my parents didn't talk to me about this.
Got you.
Yeah.
I didn't have a conversation with my dad about why he left my mom and what happened until maybe like 3 years ago. Like, so I was totally in the dark for all of these years of my life. I didn't know what was going on. In my mind, you don't love me. You don't love my parents. I mean, you don't love me. You don't love my mom. You don't love my siblings. You just ran away. So I do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, it's those kind of things that I feel like parents need to have. That's why I love you. Like, man, you know, I sit down, I talk to my boys about this. This was up. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I talk to my daughter about so much stuff that she probably shouldn't even be talking about right now, especially with the way she talk, because she can't hold water just like her dang old mama. But it's no secrets. She knows. This is why this doesn't work. This is why this relationship didn't work. I may not completely understand it, but I understand that I was given the answers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to her about money, talked to her about lying, talked to my boys about this is not gonna get you anywhere. Like, so these conversations weren't being had. You know what I'm saying? And they impacted the impact that I can have on my legacy. It delays certain stuff.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. I feel I do believe in this. Having a general practice rule, quote unquote, for parenting is the dumbest thing we have probably done. as a society. Like there is no right and wrong way to parent your kid. You have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? You have to know the baby. You got to understand what's happening here. The one thing, even in the way I deal with my daughters versus my sons, my daughters don't live with me, for those who don't know, and my sons do. And the difference even in that, to some people, when I explain it, is odd. But I know my girls, and I know my boys, and I know when they need, what they need, how they need, pretty much at all times. And because I'm not the let's go to the park dad every weekend, or I'm not that dad, but I know my impact on them by how they respond to life when it hits them. And that's my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My daughter is will be walking out of her junior year into her senior year of high school.
Yikes.
Right? She has, I am proud of her on levels that bring me to tears, only because I see the level of input that I've had in building this little person that's walking around. And by me being overly transparent by some people's standards about who I am, about who people around me mean to me, all of those kind of things, and her kind of walking with it through my life with me, she's seen things that normal kids are hidden from. So for her, it's like, okay, I don't have the maturity to be an adult, but I kind of know what this adult thing looks like. So when she came through and hit her mom and said, yo, I need to get a job. I need my own money. I need to start building this thing because I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then went and pursued it on her own, and then came back and said, well, this is what I found. This will work. I think the greatest. So all I'm saying is this, and this is really to, it's to every parent, but I'm speaking specifically to parents who are building something bigger than they can see at the moment and have a family to bring along the way. It's being involved in the moments that matter the most.
So Millie, you got a sister,
Yeah, I do.
right? Is that the only sibling you got? Okay. So
Actually, well, I have sisters, but they're not blood.
okay. So what? Hold on. What?
Like, I mean, I don't consider them blood because I barely know them. Like,
Okay, I got you.
I didn't grow up around them,
relationally.
so, yeah,
relation. I got
yeah.
you. Okay. So because I'm like,
I know
I'm
that's
like,
gonna sound weird when I really think about it.
So with you and your sister, like you said, the relationship with your sister and your mom is different than with you.
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference that you, now looking back, that you see as far as the approach that your mom takes when dealing with both of y'all, because y'all two different people? And how has that helped develop you and her? And how has that kind of taken on, I guess, shaping, I don't know, like I just said, develop, I don't know.
Well, it's definitely built the relationship between my mom and me much closer because we can sit down and finally talk, and she's understanding what type of person I am and how I think, and it's like same with my sister. It's weird because it feels like they're just starting to get to know me all over again sometimes, but I know it's a good thing. And now sitting here and being able to tell my mom as an adult, you know, this is how I felt when you did this. This is how I felt. It's like, it's not so much making her feel guilty, but making her understand, okay, I understand where I wasn't being a parent to you, and I apologize for that. You know, let's sit here and let me be more into your life now and help you through these times that I forgot to prepare you for. So it's definitely built the relationship way, way, way better, and it's gonna get better. I hope from here, and you know, and it especially with my sister, because my sister, she was like my mom. She's by the book, went straight through school, about to graduate from college this spring, and then is gonna go on to her master's. And my mom, her being the oldest, you know, she expect, okay, one child out. Now she's sitting here. She had that rotation of like, okay, another child's gonna be out. But my journey was different because I didn't see that viewpoint. You know, my sister, she grew up around different friends. You know, where I sat here and I grew up around a community that, the generation that like we see beyond. and everything in the rainbow and everything that could be. So I don't know if I want to go on this right path. And I think that's where me and her kind of had a not like a fight, but kind of had like a clash, because she was just like, she saw it as, why are you not going the same path as your sister? Like, I just expect you to go. You know, why don't you just,
instead of seeing you guys both differently.
Seeing us both differently, there was a time where it was just like, here's one, here's the other. Okay, both of them are.
Yeah, I got you.
Whatever. They're both.
She had a cookie cutter idea.
She had a cookie cutter idea,
especially since both of y'all were girls too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's easy to do.
Yeah, it's like,
and that's easy to do, and not understanding that, what she's understanding now, that everybody's going to be different. Even your own child's going to be different. Even though you want them to be like you and to follow the same path and, you know, not make the mistakes, there's going to be one that's going to be a little short and it's going to need a little bit more push to understand that.
Or one that's not going to need you to do anything at all.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's something that has helped our relationship in the long run too, her understanding that, and something that I plan on applying to my own kids, knowing that, you know, this kid might go on and do whatever they want to do, or they might be more focused, while this other one might be, I might need to keep an eye on them a little bit more, you know, help them out a little bit more, because I know I'm fixing my life from all the mistakes I made that I had to learn on my own. So,
do you want kids?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I just want one so far, maybe.
Just one.
Just one.
You want like 3.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I don't.
You want 3.
I don't.
You want, like, I got 5, and like 5 is difficult. I wouldn't suggest 5.
No.
You know, I mean, I love my babies, and I probably would have. I got 10 if I'm counting nieces and nephews.
2 is the max for me.
2? 2? 2
is the max. I mean, so at a young age, and this was the craziness of it all. So at a young age, when I was about, I want to say 10, 11, I actually got to help out at a daycare center. So here's this child helping out with little children.
Okay, so you
I saw all that. Yeah. I don't want more than one kid.
Okay.
My max is 2.
I got you. All right.
That was just too much for me. They were cute kids, really sweet. It was just a lot.
I hope you'll do.
Would you suggest this, and we can move off of legacy and kids, and if y'all want to do that. But do you suggest, okay, well, so you can't speak to this, but I would want to know. Well, I can ask you.
Okay.
Would you suggest to your child to follow in the footsteps that you are currently walking? And why?
No. I would want my child to follow the footsteps of their own path. Honestly, I don't want them to feel pressured.
Let me rephrase it.
Yeah,
that's
rephrase it, because I'm like...
if your child chose to follow in your own footsteps, would you encourage it?
Like through everything I went through? Or?
No, through who you're trying to become now. So in your path to whatever success means to you, if your child came to you and said, yo, I want to do what you're doing, show me how, would you say, yeah, let's rock, or would you steer them to something else?
Honestly, I would be open to it. I'd be like, okay, if this is what you want to do, great. The only thing I would question, I would be like, now, are you sure you want to do this just because it's me and it's for me? Just to be like, oh my gosh, mother and daughter business, woohoo. What, I guess I would ask them what's their reason behind it. I want my child to go after what they want to go after. I don't want them to feel like, no, because my mom did this, I got to follow in those footsteps now. Let me go do the same thing. I don't want that expectation. Right. You know, if it's something similar, great, I will help you out. If it's the exact same thing, great, same thing. You know, I'll be supportive whatever they want to do. I just want to make sure they do it for the right reasons.
That's a good answer. I can agree with that.
I like that. I would say the same thing as Millie. What I would discourage very heavily is some of the pitfalls. You know what I'm saying, that I made along the way. I would try to encourage them to see things from a different perspective. Like, you don't have to run into that wall, especially if you see it. Like, what is that going to prove? Right. Walk around it or climb over the thing. You know what I'm saying? Weigh the cost. So I would encourage that. And I would heavily encourage, like, not giving up. I think for me, that's probably been my biggest strength. being able to take a punch.
Yeah.
Some self-inflicted, some not. You know what I mean? So being able to take a punch, like some punches I straight just walked into. I seen the punch coming. It was slow as heck. I just decided to walk into it because I felt like it was nothing better to do but walk into a punch. But then there's other times where I didn't see it coming and I was blindsided. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I thank the Most High that I've been able to always get up and keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can say a lot of stuff about me, but one thing that you cannot say, no matter what you try to do, is say I'm a quitter. You know what I mean? I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. It's harder to quit.
I'm thinking.
It's harder to
I'm trying to
quit.
think.
It's harder to quit.
No, I don't think he's ever.
I've never quit.
No.
I've never
Not
quit.
quit.
Not quit. Listen, I've moved on to other
Yeah,
things.
there's been pivots, but no quits.
Yeah,
no quits.
It's
I'm
been
rolling.
like, you know, I mean, I've done things and I had to come to a heavy place of evaluation and figure out was it good for me
Yeah.
at this point. You know what I'm saying? And I've moved in different directions, but I never quit. Even when I called myself quitting, I didn't know how to do it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I've always been a bad quitter.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I'm just a bad quitter.
That's true.
I'm a bad quitter, man.
Interesting topic. All of this came from legacy, huh? That's interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I just kind of felt like today, you just chill and talk. You know what I'm saying? We getting ready for the new year,
Yeah.
with 2019, and you know, I think it's good to kind of examine where we want to be, what we want to do. Like, have the things that we've done this year work? You know what I'm saying? Do they need to be adjusted, or do we need to be consistent with them? Do we need to do something different? Like, a lot of times we just go into different quarters and different days and different weeks, and we never really stop and evaluate the stuff. We just get so accustomed to going through the motions that we just keep going through the motions. So when I was thinking about legacy, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to present to you guys, Millie's building a legacy, I'm building a legacy, you're building a legacy, boys building a legacy, and it's like, okay, are we doing these things for the right reasons? You know what I'm saying? Can we adjust some things? Can we be better? So
This entire month, though, and it was kind of inadvertent. I make music, and for me to do that well is kind of an emotional space you got to be in.
always.
So I haven't been in that space, and because of that, it's like, this is not a 1 day thing. This is not a 2 day thing. This has been maybe you need to sit down and just look at what you're looking at. So, I will say this: the evaluation has me looking at myself crazy, like I'm a crazy man. Like, what? How did you presume that this course of action was going to work? And the reason I brought this up after what you just said is because of that. Once you do things for a period of time, once they become the habits that you have,
Yep.
it's sometimes you don't see how the habit isn't building anything. It's just a habit you got.
Man.
And it's not a bad habit or a good habit. It's just something you do. And because you're locked into doing it, you're not looking at, okay, this is not getting you anywhere, but it's consuming a lot of your life.
Wow.
And you
Yeah.
need to pivot this way and look at it. So I've been, there's two things I've been doing. I've been sitting down a lot, and I've been playing video games a lot. Two things that I stopped doing. Because they were unproductive and they didn't build anything. And you're not a grinder. And you know what I'm saying? You're not getting to the bag if you're sitting down. And how are you playing video games? I did the exact things that I said, let me sit here and do this.
That shifted so much, that whole field of video games.
Oh, no, that's a lot of money.
That's something else.
I'm pushing my son to that because so I'm sitting here and
so much money in that, bro.
and Blue knows this.
Money
This
now.
goes back almost 10 years. Whenever I would get into a mental crunch, I would leave everybody and go in the room in the old house as you live in and play video games until I figured it out. So, but that's all of that to say, that's just my practice for thinking through things. But it allowed me to look at the actions that I've taken, what I put a lot of time into, and then evaluate them and say, all right, I don't know what I'm doing next, but I know it's not this. This is not yielding. This is not doing anything but whatever. So I think evaluation and all of that, I'm bringing this up now too, is that used to be a regular practice. Like, it was a part of the routine. Okay, 2 weeks, stop. Look at what you're doing. Go back. I think evaluation is important on a regular basis. I know it's helped me to unravel the knot of what am I doing, even if I can't tie the perfect one yet. But I don't know. I think we should look at what we're doing far more often than we do. And I also think that we should really take, and this is something I'm getting into too, something Blues been saying to me for a long time, but we'll talk about that off air. You should get into taking more risks than you would have taken before. And doing things that you want to do, I mean, with considerable measure.
Shoot the shot, Kobe.
Yeah, shoot some considerable measure. More often than you would before. Do the shit you want to do.
Shoot, man.
More of it. As much as you can. And for me, and this may speak to a lot of other business owners in my field or people that can manage their own day. Like a lot of times, because you can manage your own day, that gives you the ability to do things that a 9-to-5 worker couldn't do or explore. And even if they feel menial or minuscule or whatever it is, do that stuff, man, because you never know what you'll learn about yourself, who you'll meet, all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. You brought up evaluating 2019, and I just spun into that. So
no, I mean, I'm with you. That's where it took you. What about you, Millie? What you got before we get out of here? Oh, no.
Sorry.
You're just soaking it in, see?
Evaluating, I mean, it's just borderline of what you're saying. Be willing to elevate yourself. This is one thing that I'm taking this acting class. He told me, and this is something that you can carry with you anywhere. Don't be afraid to show how multi-talented you are. I
like that.
If you can, so say you can model, but you can sing too, showcase that. If you can dance, but you can make some really dope graphic design, showcase that. Don't limit yourself to just one thing. Showcase everything that you can do. Show how amazing you are as an individual. And that's something that I think people need to start elevating in 2019.
Drop a nugget down.
Elevating in 2019.
Millie with the nugget.
The nuggets out here.
Millie with the nuggets.
You ain't wrong though, man.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong, and that's a big deal for people. I'm noticing because I don't know where people got this from. Where you got to be one thing. I know in some instances where you want to stick to things that are close to the lane, but if you're just trying to figure it out, get to it.
The only way to figure it out is figure it out. I tell people all the time, the only way to lift that weight is to lift the weight. What you looking at it for? Do something. Shoot the shot, Kobe.
Yeah. Shoot
the shot.
Yeah.
Yo, so dope episode. Real laid back, real chill. Yeah. Just kind of let's ease into this new year with some thoughtfulness. Yeah. We got stuff we got to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be holding people accountable. Hopefully they hold me accountable. Check up on me, make sure I'm doing all right.
Big facts.
All of that good stuff. So proud of the way how our team has come together. You know what I'm saying? We have a little diversity right here, and I love it. Shout out to Boy, who's not here, FC, on the beats, and Millie with
the
no fro. Millie, I don't like that.
Yeah, we got to come up with something else. I like the vibe. We just got to AKA it. I don't know how
Millie
I got to figure it out.
Millie.
I had something for you by Sunday. I'm good at this.
Millie with the dimples.
All right, Millie with the dimples.
You know what? I'm trying.
Let me hold the AKAs down for you. You know what I'm saying? I had something for you by Sunday. I had something fly to you.
Oh, and going because we were going to talk about it in the beginning. But speaking of Christmas Day, Kyrie showed up and showed a beautiful present to the Boston Celtics. 40 points, 10 rebounds, and what was it? 2-3 assists? Man.
What I'm gonna say is this: I watched that game.
That was one hell of a game.
I was very
the Kyrie the kid.
I was
Kyrie.
very
Uncle Drew.
I was very impressed by the performance.
Uncle Drew.
I don't have anything bad to say about that man or that team. I feel as though they're going to do great things in the conference, and that's all good. I kind of expected Boston to make that happen. I didn't expect them to even have a deficit in that game, but that's not the story, Millie. That is not the story.
What is the story?
The story is the Warriors getting smoked by the Lakers.
Yes.
And LeBron going out early with a groin injury. And
Yes.
LeBron got to get an MRI on that injury. I hope he, you know what I'm saying?
It's a groin. You can tell it's a groin injury, though. You can really just tell.
Yeah.
It's a groin thing.
But
I just want to put people on notice before we get out of here that the Warriors can be beat.
They can.
You know
it's
why
possible.
they can be beat, though?
Go
The
for
reason
it.
why the Warriors can be beat is because they don't have a bench.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you don't have a bench,
So I'm imploring the NBA injury gods to reach their hand and touch Chris Paul, touch him in a way that will sustain him throughout the month of June. I need all of the oils that you guys use, all of the herbs and spices. I need all of the juju magic.
All the crystals.
All of these things, all the crystals.
All the energy healing.
Acupuncture. Whatever you need, hot yoga, goat yoga, whatever you need to do
Goat yoga.
to get him back in the game and to sustain his basketball health for the duration of the season. And why am I so adamant about this? Because I smell redemption in the water. If the man can be healed, let Chris Paul come back. Chris, if you hear me, Chris, if you're listening, I need you to get out here, bruh. I can see, you can smell the blood in the water. They are primed for an ace whooping. They can be beaten in 7 games. I can see it. And the Houston Rockets can do it. Houston, the Rockets. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
That's all I'm saying.
Got
No
it.
hope in that team with no defense.
All I'm saying.
All I'm saying is the West is wide open. For the first time in the last 4 years,
Yep.
it's really wide open. It's open. The West is open. OKC, they get hot, they can win. LA get hot, they can win. Houston, they get hot, they can win.
Okay, so you're saying open is more so like the options of who's gonna.
I'm saying the best team in the West is still the Golden State Warriors,
yeah,
but they're not. They don't look invincible.
Oh, you okay?
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I was wondering
I'm
where you're
rolling.
going.
They can be beaten consistently. Yeah.
They can now be.
So
beaten.
if you can beat them consistently, you can beat them in the series.
True.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you can get to question their depth. You know what I'm saying? If you can get to their depth and you got some people that can keep that heat on them while they, you know what I'm saying? You can beat these guys now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their bench is depleted. And that's the problem when you got that many superstars. You're paying that much money. You got to
gotta
rely
empty
heavily
out
on
that
those
bench,
guys.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, with the right formula, they can be beat. That's all I'm saying.
So that I just wanted to put that out there.
I think both sides are actually open. Before we get out of here,
You know what? Yeah,
Boston.
The East looks. I was looking at the East because I haven't watched basketball in a while.
Boston.
I haven't been watching. I just haven't been watching. Last night I got into all of them games and I went and did my ESPN.
Yes, man.
I was just like,
Yes, man.
The
Both-
East looks
I was
like
Both
actually
sides of
surprised.
basketball are actually open.
And it was funny because when I was watching the game, I was actually surprised on how strong 76ers defense was.
I wasn't.
I understand they got their trades, Jimmy's on there, blah, 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 but Sixers, they have been inconsistent. So I was surprised in seeing that drive in that game, seeing them push to overtime and seeing the back and forth. That really showed me that, like you said, that for the first time on both sides, there's actually
it ended up being a balanced league. I didn't see it happen like this.
I don't think anybody did. That's the beauty of it.
It's a balanced league. Now.
That's the
It's
beauty
a
of it.
balance. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
So-
even in football, you got these teams that you're like, man, these teams have been consistently up there, but at the same time,
the leagues are balanced.
it's still dang, we didn't see this coming.
Right.
For the first time in a while in sports, it's not just this is the definite. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Knowing that the league is balanced, because I wasn't watching, so I actually went and looked at standings
talking
and looked at
balance.
the
Oh, yeah,
scores.
that was
I was
good.
like,
Balance.
okay, I can watch this.
Milwaukee
it
is
was.
legitimate. They beat
That's-
West Coast teams.
Yep. That's
They
why I'm
beat
like,
up
okay,
on
I can watch this. I
Toronto,
can watch
Kawhi
this.
Leonard is just that guy. Boston still hasn't even got it together yet. Philly
And
with
that's what I-
Jimmy
yeah.
Butler.
Butler, yeah.
It's not over, bro.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
I'm
over.
gonna check him out. I'm gonna
But
check it out.
All right, cool.
Literally.
That's it, man. So, watch Bird Box.
Bird
Watch
Box.
Bird Box and we
Watch
can talk
Bird
about
Box.
it.
Bird Box.
We'll
Bird
be back
Box.
with an in-depth breakdown of Bird Box. Also, if you haven't seen it, go watch the trailer for Jordan Peele's new movie, Us.
Us.
It's probably going to be one of the greatest movies of 2019.
It's going to be one of the greatest, and I have a feeling it's going to confuse a lot
of people.
again.
Good. Get out confused a lot of people.
It did.
You don't think it confused me, but
I didn't say you, baby.
He said a lot of
a
people.
lot of people.
That's
okay,
what I
okay.
said.
We're awake. We see what's happening.
That confused her.
That confused her. But that's it, man. Episode 55. I don't have nothing to plug. Next year, there's going to be a lot of things to look at. Trust
I ain't got
me.
nothing.
Yes.
So we ain't got time for that. But it's me. FC on the beat, a.k.a. Fourth Quarter Freddy, a.k.a. Freddy Franchise, a.k.a. the best you ever heard. You're just afraid to admit it, a.k.a. Mr. I Have a Dream. So get your hands out my pocket, a.k.a. Speedy Trackton, a.k.a. Bomb Stockton, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Bazaar, a.k.a. Wavy Crockett, a.k.a. F the Netflix Guy, a.k.a. Hot Take Jake, a.k.a. Young Hulu, a.k.a. Mr.
Still
Always
don't
Got
agree with
Loaded,
those.
a.k.a. Mr. Always Stay Focused, a.k.a. Mr. All Bags Matter. We will see y'all next week.
Edie. That was so
We got to get you an AKA. We got to get you an AKA. Gone.